Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 7 of our WWF New Generation Save. It is the second week after the Royal Rumble and we are now 3 weeks away, including tonight's Monday Night Raw, from our next event. It's not a pay-per-view, it's nothing sort of big, it's regarded as a lesser event, but it's the World Tour, I think I called it the World Tour finale. And I'll kind of explain after this episode of Raw what that kind of means. But let's head straight in to Raw, shall we? Because we are heading into something pretty big this week. We kick off with some pre-show matches, and we have got Crush taking on Rick Martel. In a good pre-show match, Crush defeated Rick Martel in 10 minutes 27 by pinfall with a heart punch. And this gets a wrestling rating of 65, 61 for the crowd, 71 overall. I'm actually really pleased with that. That's a decent score. Again, we just wanted to use Crush. We do have a couple of little plans for him. Rick Martel's one of them guys that I would like to use, but we've got quite a big roster at the moment, and he can't feature everyone all the time. But I don't want him to get forgotten about. Jim Ross, we have brought in Jim Ross on commentary, and just as in real life, lucky for us really that he has good chemistry with Jerry Lawler. So that's a really good start. Gimmick changes then. It will be Jim Ross. It gets very good as a staff member. I didn't actually look at his gimmick, to be honest. I don't normally when it comes to commentators. I probably should do. And the next one, we've got High Energy in action as they take on the Beverly Brothers. And this one is a decent pre-show match. The Beverly Brothers got the win. I didn't choose the winners. I wish I did, because I would have gone with High Energy. It was in 11 minutes 34. Blake Beverly pinned Coco Beware with a Shaker Heights spike. So in terms of in-ring work, Owen Hart was head and shoulders above everyone else. That's why I wanted them to win, really. I should have chosen the winner. I'm so into the habit of not doing it for pre-show matches. But sometimes when you get two teams like this who are quite similar, really, in terms of perception, I should have just done it. It doesn't really matter overall. I mean, we'll get High Energy over. We'll certainly get Owen Hart over. And we get a 55 wrestling rating, 48 for the crowd, 62 overall. Yeah, it's a pre-show match, which doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. Damien Demento then takes on Randy Savage. This is you could call it a strange one, but we are featuring Damien Demento at the moment. He's in a storyline with The Undertaker, and Randy Savage is Randy Savage. We are sort of featuring him as well at the moment. He's obviously potentially one of the number one contenders for the WWF title. So we get a pre-show bout that had great heat and decent wrestling. Randy Savage got the win in 13 minutes 41. Thank goodness for that. If Damien Demento had got the win here, I would have been a bit upset. By pinfall with a flying elbow drop. So we get 61 wrestling, 65 crowd, 74 overall is really, really good. I am actually really pleased with that. Randy Savage shone in this match. He got a rating of 87, which is absolutely superb. Let's head into Monday Night Raw. So for the first time, we have Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler open the show instead of Vince and Lawler. And tonight they say, I've spelt it wrong, but our main event, we'll see Doink the Clown take on Mr. Perfect. A new WWF president will be announced, and there will be a special edition of the Barbershop. All this and much more. Rating of 77, really good way to start the show. Jim Ross underperformed in this segment, which was unfortunate. Yeah, our main event, Doink, will be taking on Mr. Perfect. They've been feuding for a while. But the opening match features Papa Shango as he takes on Jim Brunzell. Papa Shango, I think I've said it before, one of those guys I don't want people to forget about. I'd love to have some plans for him. At the moment, though, as I said earlier with Rick Martel, you can't feature everyone all the time, but I would really like to do something with him later on in the year. A decent match. Papa Shango got the win in 5 minutes 47 by pinfall with a voodoo driver. 52 wrestling, 40 crowd, 53 overall. We're always going to get this bonus now for the commentary. That's good. That's a really good move. Yeah, I brought Jim Ross in a little bit earlier than in real life, but I just felt it was the right thing to do. Then we've got a pre-taped segment from a house show. We sort of did this thing before with Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Decided to do it again, this time with the Nasty Boys and Money Inc. So there's a bit to go through here, really. The Nasty Boys are in the ring. They're ready to go. They're ready to wrestle. Jimmy Hart leads Money Inc. down the aisle, clutching some paperwork. wearing a smug grin. And Ted DiBiase has a mic, and he says, "Hold it right there, nasty boys. You two greaseballs might think you're getting a title shot tonight, but according to this official contract," and he waves the paper, "you're not even eligible." Ira says, "That's right. You've got outstanding fines for property damage and locker room misconduct. Until those are paid in full, you're not cleared for championship competition." The Nasty Boys obviously look furious, and Jerry Saggs points at Jimmy Hart and he says, "You're hiding behind paperwork, huh? Why don't you two suits get in this ring and settle it the nasty way?" And the Nasty Boys jump out of the ring and charge down the aisle. A wild brawl breaks out. Fists are flying, belts are swinging. Jimmy Hart screams and backs away as referees rush down to separate everyone. And then we just cut back to Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler at commentary, who just sort of explain what's gone on. My goodness, what's this about the Nasty Boys not being allowed to fight for championships? Apparently they got some fines to pay. Yeah, that's where that one went, and it gets a rating of 63. So that was a pre-taped segment from a house show. Lots of green there, like to see it. The crowd are currently white hot. Then we've got Men on a Mission against the Head Shrinkers. Two tag teams I want to use. Men on a Mission, it's going to take them a while. It's going to take us a while to get them over, I think. The Head Shrinkers as well. I think we can get the Head Shrinkers over, but maybe a bit quicker than Men on a Mission. But I'd love to get a few tag teams really high up the card. Whenever I play this game, and it's probably through fault of myself, really, all my major stars are always singles competitors. I don't often have, a major star level tag team. Certainly not two of them. So I'd really like to get a couple of tag teams right up there. These two probably aren't there yet. I mean, you've got to be looking at people like the Steiner Brothers that get there first, I expect. But, the Head Shrinkers have got something about them. But enough babbling. In a bout that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, the Head Shrinkers defeated Men on a Mission in 8 minutes 53 when Samu pinned Mo with a double diving headbutt after Afa interfered. In terms of in-ring work, Samu was head and shoulders above everyone else. 41 wrestling, 28 crowd, which is pretty poor, really, and it's a 55 segment rating overall. I think we should just move on from this one. Then we've got a news segment. Sean Mooney introduces promos from The Undertaker with Paul Bearer, Tatanka, Big Boss Man, and Yokozuna. There's more pictures there because people are talking about other people. There's a few storylines here being dealt with. Gets an overall rating of 61. We are concentrating here on The Undertaker promo. But Paul Bearer starts. His voice is trembling, and I'm not going to do the impression of Paul Bearer. It just says, "Oh, yes, Damien Demento, you dare speak my name. You dare reach for my urn." And he sort of laughs and says, "You don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? This urn does not belong to you. It gives life to him." And then Paul Bearer slowly turns to The Undertaker, who steps forward. And he says, "Damien Demento, your obsession with what belongs to me has sealed your fate. You seek the power it holds, but you'll only find darkness. When you gaze into the urn, you will not see power, but your own destruction." And then Paul Bearer finishes off by saying, "Oh, yes, the Undertaker will bury your twisted mind, Damien, and when it's over, you'll rest in peace." Jack Tunney is in the ring or at the podium next to the ring. We probably would have been in the ring actually at this time during Monday Night Raw. You can see the picture already. We've got a new president, or could it be Lex or Randy? I'll tell you now, it isn't. So let's go into this. It's a 69 rating, and Jack Tunney's in the ring, as I said. And Jack Tunney says, "Ladies and gentlemen, as I announced last week, I will be stepping down as president of the World Wrestling Federation. It has been an honor to serve you all, but now it's time for new leadership. Please welcome the new WWF president, Sergeant Slaughter." And Slaughter comes down the ring. I know in real life, Sergeant Slaughter became the president. We're obviously bringing it forward by a good couple of years, I think. As I explained in the last episode, we want someone with some decent mic skills, and he's quite popular as well. And Sergeant Slaughter says, "As at ease, maggots, the Sarge is taking command. And let me tell you, there's going to be order there's going to be discipline, and there's going to be fair play in the WWF. And then before he can continue, Lex Luger's theme hits, and he strolls down the aisle in his robe, smirking confidently, and he says, "Hold on, Slaughter. Before you start barking orders, let's talk about business. I was one of the last men standing in the Royal Rumble. If anyone deserves a shot at Yokozuna and that WWF Championship, it's me." And then, of course, Randy Savage's music hits. And Randy Savage says, "You want a title shot, Luger? You got to go through me, yeah. Because the Macho Man was right there with you in that Rumble. Dig it? You think you can outfight me, outclass me? Oh, no, brother. Not happening." And unfortunately, I don't think you can scroll down here because we do have, I think there's a bit more to this. So yeah, then Luger is then starts smirking, and he backs away, but he's flexing. And Luger says, "You've had your time, Randy. Step aside. This is the era of perfection. The Lex Express is about to roll over you." And right to Yokozuna. And then the two men sort of, stare each other down, get nose to nose, and Sergeant Slaughter steps between them, shouting. And he says, "That's enough. If you two want a title shot so bad, you'll get your chance. Next week on Raw, Randy Savage versus Lex Luger. The winner becomes the #1 contender for the WWF Championship." So there we have it. Next week, Randy Savage against Lex Luger. The winner, presumably, will be going to WrestleMania to face Yokozuna. Rating of 69, a little bit disappointing. Jack Tunney, I'm thinking, probably brought it down. Sergeant Slaughter is pretty decent on the mic. Randy Savage is also, obviously awesome. Lex Luger maybe brought it down a bit, but I imagine most of that, unfortunately, was Jack Tunney. Bless him. Let's have a look at the dirt sheet, actually. I mean, there's a few bonuses there. I can't, off the bat, and I'm not studying it deeply, I can't see many penalties. Jack Tunney was penalised for some poor improvising. So was Luger. Yeah, I think that's probably the case there. Adam Bomb makes his WWF debut against Typhoon. Typhoon wasn't happy about losing this one, and I kind of don't blame him, but we want Adam Bomb to be a big deal. I always kind of liked him as a kid. I know he got a lot of stick, actually, and a lot of people think his gimmick was really bad. I actually thought it was pretty cool. Maybe they could have presented it a little bit differently, but I did love the idea of him, and he had a good look. He was a big guy. But here we get decent reaction from the crowd, but terrible wrestling. Adam Bomb defeated Typhoon in 6 minutes 31 by pinfall with a meltdown. The match was designed to tell a specific story, so yeah, this was just our storytelling match. Wrestling got 42. The crowd only had 36. Maybe I didn't really expect much, to be honest. I mean, Adam Bomb, I think, has come in as unimportant. Typhoon's recognisable. I wasn't expecting too much from this match. It is just Adam Bomb's debut, but we wanted to give him a win against someone higher up the card to get some pop on him. Segment rating was 48. The gimmick for Adam Bomb, yeah, I mean, I used the monster gimmick. I could have probably changed that up, but I mean, he kind of is a bit of a monster. And initial rating very good. So, yeah, I mean, it's not too shabby, but again, this just served the purpose. Adam Bomb's debut. Then we have the barber shop, and you knew it was coming. Hulk Hogan returns to the WWF. You can also see Razor Ramon's face there. Beefcake introduces Hogan. "Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest needs no introduction. He's back in the WWF, and the fans have been waiting for this one. Give it up for Hulk Hogan." Music hits, fans are popping, maybe not as much as they would have been 2 or 3 years ago, but they're popping. Real American hits. Hogan explodes onto the scene, and he gets into the barbershop set, which, let's just say, is in the ring. Hogan says, "Well, let me tell you something, Brutus. Hulkamania's been running wild all over the world, brother. And now it's time to bring it home. I didn't come back for titles, dude. I came back for the fans, for the fight, and to see if these pythons still got some power left, brother." Razor Ramon's music hits. It comes down to the ring. Hogan's like, who dare interrupt me? Who is this guy? Probably knows who he is, but who does he think he is? And Ramon says, "So this is what everybody's talking about, huh? The big comeback. The legend? Please, Chico, You ain't the future. You're just an old man playing hero. And then Hogan glares as Razor smirks. And again, I've had to go back to this page now to see to get the rest of it. You got something to say, tough guy. Why don't you step in here and say it to my face? And then Razor says, nah, not tonight, old man. I'll let you have your little reunion. But soon, Razor Ramon's going to make you wish you stayed gone. And then Razor backs off, grinning. Hogan points after him, shouting. And then Hogan says, you better bring everything you got, brother, because Hulkamania never dies. And then the crowd roars. And Hogan's music hits again. Beefcake pumps his fists while Razor smirks from down the aisle. Rating of 87. Yeah, I knew it'd get a decent rating. If anything, Beefcake may have dinged it a bit, but I still get an 87. It's superb. So the idea here is Razor Ramon tried to make a name for himself, taking on Brett. Didn't work. Now he's trying against Hogan, trying to make a name for himself. So 87. The crowd is very hot. Lots of green there. Good stuff. Let's move on. Bam Bam Bigelow takes on Marty Jannetty in a good match. Bam Bam Bigelow defeated Marty Jannetty in 12 minutes 4 seconds by pinfall with a diving headbutt after distraction from Shawn Michaels. So I'm not going to go into too many details. Shawn Michaels comes down and distracts Marty Jannetty, helping Bigelow get the win. The reason we did this really was I kind of knew I'd get a good match out of Bigelow. He's been pretty good so far. We haven't given him many wins. And if I had Shawn Michaels come down and do something, that would advance the story. And I'm glad I did, because that storyline did gain heat with this segment. So we got a 68 for the wrestling, 58 crowd, but 73 overall. Absolutely fantastic. And as I say, that storyline gained heat, which is what I wanted out of this one. Then we have a music video featuring Bret Hart. There was no other reason for Bret to be on the card. And as explained in the last episode, he's pretty beaten and bruised and he's not cleared to wrestle at the moment. But we can't not use him. I mean, we can, but yeah, I had sort of a few minutes spare, so let's have him in a hype video, hyping Bret Hart, maybe hyping his recovery, maybe showing a few things. Rating of 74. And then our main event. Wow, this delivered. I was hoping for something in the 70s, but to get 85 is, yeah, I love that. Love that. In a bout that had a great heat and good wrestling, Mr. Perfect defeated Doink the Clown in 14 minutes 58 by disqualification. The match was designed so the wrestlers could go out and steal the show. Disqualification, Doink the Clown. I mean, use your imagination. I'm not going to go into details. Maybe he squirted Mr. Perfect with the flour again, maybe in the eye. Maybe he used a fake arm to hit him with. The referee caught him. Gets DQ'd. Wanted to give Perfect the win, but didn't want to give him a clean win yet because I'm not done with this storyline. So, yeah, 70 wrestling rating and 66 for the crowd, but 85 overall is absolutely fantastic. That's going to really help the rating for this show. Let's see what we get overall, shall we, guys? 84. That's decent. That's decent. That's probably our best show so far, isn't it? So we have increased our popularity in 20 regions. Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm proper chuffed with that one. Financial report made just over 100 grand. I think it might be falling. I might have to take a look at the economy and the industry just to sort of see where it's going. I wouldn't be surprised if it's falling, actually. The mod maker may have had that because at this time it probably was falling a little bit. Popularity recap. We've actually gained a little bit in some US areas, which we don't do very often. So yeah, pleased with that one. We got some drug test fees and we have the Monday Night Raw figures. Okay, I just want to have a quick look at our show history. Well, actually, let's just have a look at the top 100 because it'll tell us here. Yeah, that is our best show so far. Our best Raw and our best show so far. Yeah, really pleased with that. Let's have a quick look. I did say I was going to look at look at this. The economy below average, but it's rising. But the industry below average and falling. I thought that might be the case. Disappointed it's already below average, but I knew it would have been falling. Okay, well, that's okay. I mean, we're not in any danger financially or anything like that. This isn't a financial challenge series. You know, this is very much a let's tell a story how I would have booked the new gen era. So we normally look at our storylines. You're probably getting bored of me doing it after every show, but yeah, I mean, we're doing really well. Yeah, I'm so pleased with how that's all going at the moment because we've got quite a few. I don't normally have this many. What we've got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories. and we only need 3 to be hot or above. If we moved up to big, we would only need 5. So at the moment we've got 7. So yeah, if we can sort of keep that going, even with stories like Damien Demento and the Undertaker, yeah, happy with that. Really happy with that. I don't think there's anything else to show you now. I've never actually looked at the figurehead. Do we have a? Oh, Bret Hart is our. No, we don't have a figurehead. So do you know what? I've never had a figurehead. I've never. Well, I have, but only one that's already been built into a mod. I've never actually taken on my own figurehead. So that's got to be a challenge. That's got to be something I want to do in this series. So Bret Hart, I mean, he probably isn't the right guy to be our figurehead. So I might be looking at getting someone else over. Yeah, I mean, Hogan's always going to be a top guy unless Hogan isn't around. So I think we'll just hold off having a figurehead until maybe Hogan either goes or we decide to do something with him. Um, so yeah, that's it. I think. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Please give a like and subscribe if you have, and please comment below with anything. I said it in the last episode. I'm really pleased with the engagement I've had in this series so far. Some of you seem to be enjoying it. It's very different to what I normally do. I normally just go through the motions, but I'm putting some effort into the stories. I'm coming out with some storylines, coming out with some actual segments that actually mean something, and they've actually got a little bit of a script to them. I hope you're enjoying that side of it. Yeah, that's really all I've got to say. We've got 2 more episodes of Raw until our event, which is, so what did I call it? Yeah, the Winter Tour final night. So the idea really is that we've got a winter tour going on, and we'll just have a big event that kind of finishes it off. And that's what that's just where we'll have our. I can't call it a pay-per-view because it's not a pay-per-view. Well, it will be on pay-per-view, but it's not a big Premier Live event. But that's kind of like, I just like to have an event every month. I've done it further on in the year as well. We've got a European Spring Tour final night, Summer Tour final night. Yeah, it's just something to just give me something with a little bit of meat on the bone, to rather than just not have an event at all. But yeah, I'm in danger of babbling now, and I'm even stumbling over my words, so I better sign this one off. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.